Yes people, what is good? I am BA, back once again with another reaction in the Chernobyl series. We have reached the finale, episode 5, and it is called Vichnaya Pamyat. I think I'm saying that right. I probably just completely butchered that shit, but I did try my best. Last episode, for me there was really 3 main things going on last episode. The first one was, again they tried to use a robot to clear the debris on the roof and it did not happen, so they decided they just had to use human beings again. So these people were going up in teams of 2 for 90-second rotations to completely clear the roof of all the graphite. It looks like they were successful with their mission as well, so that was a little positive we got last episode, in amongst all the other horrific shit. And as expected, unfortunately, the woman who was the wife of the firefighter lost her child. I'm finding it hard to hold her at fault though. Yes, she did ignore the advice of nurses etc, but she definitely didn't understand the ramifications of absorbing levels of radiation like she did. So yeah, there's been a lot of idiots in this show. She's not one of them. I just feel bad for her and what happened to her. And nuclear physicist lady, incompetent guy, I found this document with 2 pages missing, which seems to suggest from the design stages of this reactor core there was a flaw which was tested, discovered, covered up and then released anyway. Now I do not know how you even hold somebody accountable for something of that magnitude being covered up. Surely someone's feet need to be held to the fire for this. Of course, knowing the way this shit's gone so far, it's going to be someone who doesn't deserve it, while the real perpetrators have nothing done to them. And the number 1 reason why I never want to see the last episode again in my fucking life, we got about 20 to 25 minutes it felt like, of these guys walking about the countryside executing dogs. Dog after dog, house after house, little puppy's face after little puppy's face. They all caught both barrels, and for me as someone who proper loves and respects animals, yeah, that was just a really difficult episode to watch. And I hope we concluded the dog murdering storyline last episode. If they continue it into this episode, I don't even know what I'm gonna do, but hopefully they don't, because if they do it will be borderlining on sadistic at that point. So yeah, let's see how they conclude this absolutely dark masterpiece of a show. This is episode 5, Vichnaya Pamyat. Let's check it out and see what it's saying to it. Oh, is this a flashback? Because that's the fireman, right? Yeah, this is definitely a flashback. Oh shit! Oh no, are we gonna see some fucking horrible thing that's happened to cause this 12 hours beforehand?
Naturally, they'll put me in charge once he's gone, and then I'll need someone to take my own job. I would like to be considered.
This guy had a promotion on the line after the safety test. Well, that's interesting. That at least gives him a bit more motivation for not wanting to accept anything went horribly wrong.
If we need to wait 10 hours, we wait.
Running half power, we're not going to have stability issues.
There seems to be so many potential reasons right now as to why there was a catastrophic core failure, but certainly running this safety test at half power with this known fault built in that they were mentioning last episode definitely seems like a recipe for disaster. The colours in this show are so dulled. I would have loved to have just walked into this room and been like, hey guys, this is fucking bright orange, check this shit out. 1987. This'll be almost a full year after the disaster at this point then. Spies would get a way better rep if they just said like, hi, how are you? How's your day going? Beautiful weather innit? I'm a spy, I'm here to kill you, but still, the sun's nice. Not just straight up screw facing everybody, like they're about to drop the dopest mixtape of 2023.
You went to the doctor yesterday, how is your health?
You don't know?
Of course the guy knows. I am assuming he has developed cancer at this point.
You're quite good at this.
At what? Lying.
Statecraft, Rugasov.
So, lying on a national level is known as statecraft, got it.
Hero of the Soviet Union.
Our highest honor.
I don't think he really cares about this sort of stuff.
Once it's over, we will have our villains, we will have our hero, we will have our truth.
Genuinely don't think that's how this trial's gonna play out, but as long as Dyatlov goes to jail, I'll be happy, kinda. Even though, of course, this problem goes way above him. As long as one of the incompetent people go to jail, I'll take that. Is this us caught up with him? He looks like he's got tapes in front of himself. I feel like this might be us caught up with him in the opening scene. No, the cassette player wasn't in front of him yet. This must be a bit before.
Why are you here?
Because I'm brutally stubborn. Which you were hoping for.
I don't know if I'd class her as being brutally stubborn. The shit she's trying to find out, stubbornness is required when there's resistance, and she's doing it all for the greater good, so she might be stubborn, but it's not in the traditional sense you would call someone it.
It's a show trial. The jury's already been handed their verdict.
I'm not talking about them. Members of the scientific community.
As long as they hear the information, it will not matter if it's a clown court or not.
When your testimony arrives at the moment of the explosion, our jury will finally hear the truth.
I completely respect what she's thinking about doing here, but she's essentially asking him to sacrifice his life. There's no way he'll get away with doing that shit.
Some heroic stance I take in defiance of the state?
Yes.
Why?
I have to say, I'm kinda siding with him at this point. He raises a fair political point, and as smart as she has shown herself to be scientifically, there is a lot of cloak and daggery shit going on. She might not fully be comprehending what she's asking him to do here. She's asking him to sacrifice his life.
Putting out fires. Tending to the wounded. They didn't hesitate, they didn't waver, they simply did what had to be done.
So have I.
See, now I'm kinda on her side. Like, if he's dying anyway, why not just drop the truth? If you've only got 5 miserable years of pain left to live anyway, why not do something substantial with it? That is a lot of wasted metal right there. I was trying to look and figure out which one was the Transformer, but you can never tell. They're good. They're good. You gotta give them that. It's the one thing they can do, so it makes sense they do it well. Unless Michael Bay's directing it.
Committee of the Communist Party of the Soviet Union and the Presidium of the Supreme Soviet of the USSR.
I know this actor. Where have I seen this guy?
Indictments. Viktor Brukhanov. Anatoly Dyatlov.
Shit, it's all the people that were in line for job promotions.
The state calls witnesses Comrade Khamyuk of the Belarusian Nuclear Institute.
Oh, fuck off. Fuck off. It is Lord Bolton from Game of Thrones, repping the flayed man sigil. He's probably going to lean over to the nuclear physicist lady and reveal that he's got chainmail hidden under his jacket, before a crossbow bolt penetrates her face.
Why was there need for a safety test at all? Reactor number 4 was not new when the accident occurred.
As we've learned now, the entire purpose of the safety test was that these guys were going to get promotions after it was done. I don't know why that was a significant thing they had to do before they got their promotions, especially when these people knew there was an inbuilt flaw. If I was the government, I'd be like, no, don't do the safety test. You guys are fine. You are fine. Do not press that fucking button.
But what if a power plant has no power?
Then it's just a plant.
Without water, the core overheats, the fuel melts down, in short, a nuclear disaster.
I don't know if he was describing the power plant there, or what would happen if the fan on the desk across from the judges failed.
Any questions?
Yeah, why are you dying while you give your speech? Why did you start your speech with that mouth and finish it with the one on your shoulder?
But a test is only as good as the man carrying it out.
This guy is not stupid. He knows where the blame has to be deflected. These three have to bite the bullet. There is no way they're getting off with this. The only shame is the true conspiracy is the cover-up on the document when they did the initial tests before the core was installed at the power plant. And I've got a feeling we're never going to see the culprits of that.
By 2 in the afternoon, the reactor has been lowered by half from its normal output level of 3,200 megawatts.
Still unsure if Competent Guy's going to get up and tell the truth, but I know for a fact she's going to tell them everything she knows.
He's already here.
Came in early. Something about a test.
More flashbacks to just before this test. Are they going to reveal someone's done something? Because to me, it seems like it's been doomed from the inception with this half power that they're going to have to run it on, and also the inbuilt fault. Is there a third thing that we're going to see?
I have to do something I've never done before with Dyatlov looking over my shoulder.
Oh, don't worry. We'll do it together.
Obviously, I've got faith in these engineers to follow these instructions, but yes, it may be another factor in it fucking up that he's got 2 guys that have never done this test before running the test.
There's instructions of what to do, and then
Well, there's a lot of things crossed out.
Don't tell me that another major factor in this was the fact they hadn't reprinted a bit of paper with the exact instructions on it and just left it with half red pen going through the instructions like it's been corrected and never finalised. What the fuck? That's got to be one of the most inept things in the entire show, fault built in or not.
Shut the fuck up and do your job. Topped and off. Reduce power to 700.
Yeah, okay, so even though we've learned that in the last few episodes this is above and beyond the people directly in the site who are responsible, Dyatlov is still being an absolutely inept idiot.
All of 25 years old. And his total experience on the job, 4 months.
That is just not the experience level you would want running such a dangerous procedure.
Comrade Legasov.
Well, it is the last episode, I might as well call him by his fucking name, Legasov. Okay, please tell the truth, Legasov. You're getting name-checked for the truth here. But my prediction is he doesn't tell it. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been recording those tapes before he hung himself in episode 1. It seemed like he got out on those tapes all the things he's probably going to hold back now.
The reactivity which generates power either goes up or it goes down.
That's very simple terms. Even I understand those terms.
They reduce reactivity like brakes on a car.
Awkward mic moving soldier there. I like to think that was just one of the actual camera crew for this show and they were just like, fuck it, leave him in. He was wearing a weird outfit that day, it sort of works.
The higher the reactivity, which means more heat, which means more steam, which means...
I guess I'm getting to the age where I would be classed as a boring person, but the actual science in this show is just as interesting to me as every other part of it. I'm learning so much about nuclear power while watching a drama.
This is the invisible dance that powers entire cities without smoke or flame.
It seems like quite an intricate symbiotic relationship. It's quite amazing what the scientists of this world have figured out on our dumbass behalfs over the last couple hundred years. I mean, no disrespect to the guy that fashioned an axe from flint for the first time, or the dude that did the wheel. I'm just talking about, you know, high technology. I give a fuck how circular your wheel is. You didn't have a nuclear power plant, alright? Get on your fucking mammoth-pulled cart and fuck off.
Kirschenbaum, come get me when these old women are ready. Yes, Comrade Dyatlov.
He really was a shitty boss, wasn't he?
Whoa, slow.
I didn't move any rods there.
That's got to be it malfunctioning already.
LAC disabled, global control activated.
They don't seem to have been doing anything wrong. This seems to be the fault, which is definitely responsible.
Shut down, wait 24 hours.
No, we're doing the test tonight. Raise power to 700.
We can't raise the power from here. The rules.
Don't talk to me about rules.
So again, this is Dyatlov doing some fucking idiotic shit.
That's how long I've done this job. 25 years. Is that longer than you, Akimov?
Yes.
Is it much longer?
Yes.
Now he's just pulling rank on him and he's going to tell him to do it or he's going to do it himself.
It won't work anywhere ever again. I'll see to it. I think you know I will see to it.
Oh, we know. We already know how much of an absolute piece of shit you are. Don't you worry. Watching this scene, I don't even give a fuck about the inbuilt fault in the reactor core. Dyatlov is just such an unlikable person and still making so many dumb decisions. If he'd have just done what they wanted at this point, there would have been no failure.
I wasn't in the room when they raised the power.
Oh, that is an infuriating juxtaposition. You fucking lying prick. How you gonna be fatally dying of cancer or something and still be trying to cover your back?
I knew what Dyatlov ordered was wrong. But if I didn't do what he said, I would be fired.
Better not lie to Lord Bolton, he'll put you up on that cross quick time.
Court is now in recess, 30 minutes.
It's a weird trajectory this show's actually taken, because the first couple episodes you just hate Dyatlov and put everything on him. But then the information they discovered over episodes 3 and 4, you're like, yeah, Dyatlov was a dick, but this problem clearly stems from the fault in these removed pages. But then this episode just reminds you how much of an absolute, unadulterated, unapologetic ass candle this guy is, and it makes you forget that some fucking scientist in a lab is actually responsible. You know what, at this point, let that guy go free, just as long as that lying piece of shit Dyatlov is held accountable for the shit he did.
No one ever thinks it's going to happen to them. And here we are.
To be fair, that might not even be from Chernobyl. This dude sounds like he's been battling throat cancer for 30 years.
Time passed and I thought it wouldn't happen to me.
It's a shame though that these two guys are dying as well. For all the suit and tie people we've seen in this show, I do like this guy with the grey hair the best. He's strict and harsh like the rest of them, but he's not incompetent and he understands he's just playing the game.
They said it wasn't serious, I believed them.
Because they put you in charge.
So his own disbelief in his importance made him think that it couldn't have been a big deal, because if it was, why would they have hired him? The reason is because anyone who was assigned to it was inevitably going to die.
Obedient fools. They mistakenly sent the one good man.
Yeah, just what I said. Neither of them deserved this. Wonder if that was improvised or they literally had an insect wrangler with a little beaker thing with that caterpillar inside it. I like to think the caterpillar just improved its way into Chernobyl and is now starring in the Labyrinth remake as the worm whose wife is making a cup of tea.
The reactor isn't hot enough to produce sufficient steam.
This is definitely starting to look lopsided for Team Blue. If this was dodgeball, it would be all but over for the guy in red.
The only thing keeping the reactor in check is water and xenon.
I've got to say, I am really pleased he brought along these helpful plastic cards. It's like he's trying to explain it for the first time to animals, and I, as an absolute moron, really appreciate the help. So it's back up to 204. Their desired number was 700, I believe.
Let's get ready. Switch on pump 4.
Oh, wait a second.
Steady sure.
We have barely enough steam as it is. The turbine is going too slow.
Wait, so Dyatlov ran the test when the power was only at 200? Oh, for fuck's sake. Sorry if I covered my mouth while I said that. I was saying, oh, good luck, mate. Just hoping for the best for Dyatlov.
You have 15 minutes.
Fucking die. Come on, try.
Dyatlov didn't care. All he wanted to do was report a completed test.
That is exactly it. He could not wait to get that little promotion. If they'd have just postponed the test for 24 hours, everything would have been fine. They'd have all got their promotions. Oh, episode 5. It's not as much of a downer as 3 and 4, but we're back with the frustration. I'm going to be walking about fists clenched, white-knuckled the rest of the day thinking about this shit.
Based on the absence of sufficient control rods, the computer is recommending that the reactor be shut down.
Shit, even back in them days, there was a computer trying to keep them right, and Dyatlov even overrode the fucking AI.
And they've let go.
Oh no, all the blues are coming off the fucking board right now, aren't they?
Increases reactivity, increases heat, increases steam.
What a comeback. Team Red got everyone back out the penalty box. It's now looking perilous for Team Blue. You guys suck at dodgeball.
We have a power surge, Sasha.
Holy fuck. That went from like 300 to 1,000 there in a few seconds. No wonder they pressed the emergency shutdown button.
What are you waiting for, Legasov? Tell your lies.
Comrade Dyatlov, you will not be warned again.
Shut the fuck up. If I was a witness in this courtroom, I would have lunged over his desk about 2 hours ago.
Did these things believing there was a failsafe. AZ5, a simple button to shut it all down.
Okay, so let's look at it from this perspective. If this entire thing had happened in a different nuclear power plant, with a core that didn't have this built-in fault. Even if, under those conditions, when they pressed AZ5 and it worked and shut it down, the next day, that Dyatlov guy would have still have been fired, because everybody else in the plant would have been like, he pushed this plant to the brink, he had the power going down and up and running it, tests on 200, like he would have been fired anyway. So yeah, the core design error might have truly have been the fault, but what Dyatlov did is fucking so stupid that, again, I've completely forgotten about it being some random scientist's fault.
Cooled, graphite moderated reactors with a positive void coefficient. It's cheaper.
I mean, you never want to think that something leading to a catastrophic nuclear failure is just because you were penny pinching in the design stage. I'm looking at you, Titan submarine.
The control rod and fuel channel caps, which each weigh 350 kilograms, are jumping up and down.
Fucking hell, that would be a scary sight.
We do not know how high the power went. We only know the final reading.
We all like to imagine ourselves in some sci-fi looking room with a wall full of lights thinking how cool it is. It's not cool when the shit starts going haywire and you don't know what's wrong.
Explosion. In the instant the lid is thrown off the reactor,
the power of that explosion just looked catastrophic instantly. And the other creepy thing, which I still remember from episode 1, was how it almost caused a beam of light to go straight up because of the power of the light it was emanating through the destroyed hole.
No one in the room that night knew the shutdown button could act as a detonator.
How this piece of shit can know exactly what he did, be dying anyway, and still just lie through his teeth to the bitter end. What a hateable character.
Right now, there are 16 reactors in the Soviet Union with the same fatal flaw. 3 of them are still running.
That's so cool that he did say this to the court.
I've already trod on dangerous ground. We're on dangerous ground right now because of our secrets and our lies.
It's true. It's sort of like telling someone to watch where they step while having the conversation with them in an active volcano.
That is how an RBMK reactor core explodes. Lies.
Well, that's the question I've been wanting the answer to since the very first episode. If you'd have told me it was a one-word answer, I would have been anticipating it somewhat less. I'll remember that though, that's an easy one for a science test. You know you've just done a mic drop moment when an entire courtroom is completely silenced by your testimony. Has he instantly been detained for his testimony? He's probably expecting a gas to start seeping through that vent. I mean, at least put him in a room with less shit wallpaper. That's punishment enough. That is such a fucking uncanny valley Mickey Mouse. He looks like even he's been warped by the radiation.
As a student, you had a leadership position in Komsomol, Communist Youth, correct?
I genuinely can't comprehend why they would want this information to be covered up rather than fix it. And if the answer is to save money, then what a fucking horrible reason for such a catastrophe.
You're not heroic. You're just a dying man who forgot himself.
I didn't see your old ass at the fucking blast site, whereas he went instantly knowing what it was going to do to him. So who's not brave?
Your testimony today will not be accepted by the state. It will not be disseminated in the press.
Oh, just writing his testimony from the record books. Well, I suppose it's better than him getting killed for us, but you know, he's gonna die anyway. And they know that killing him looks bad because, as the guy said, he just did his seminar in Vienna, which the entire world saw, so he's done damage control for the sake of the Soviet Union toward the rest of the world, so his little testimony in a room that is never gonna be accepted won't change anything. And I was schooled by my patrons that at this point Ukraine was basically the Soviet Union, it was all one thing, so don't worry, I'm on track with all that shit now.
You will remain so immaterial to the world around you that when you finally do die, it will be exceedingly hard to know that you ever lived at all.
And this will essentially lead directly into where we saw him in the first episode, just watched every single day of his life, and that's why he decided to make the tapes and then hang himself.
I worry about something that isn't going to happen. They should put that on our money.
One of the best parting shots of all time there. This will be the last time he ever sees those guys then. That's it. Their whole mission to get any sort of truth out in a single conversation is now over. Fuck, so the gas-off was a real guy as well. And his memoirs were real, no way. I was not sure, how much of that part of the story was real or not. So that shit was all true. Man, I've never heard this about Chernobyl before. Even the goddamn chef hats were true. They don't usually do that. I love how the show's just specified that they took many characters and singularised them into one so it was easier to follow. Many true life things do that, but they never specify it. There's the real Dyatlov, you fucking prick. Yay! She was real as well. Oh no. That's fucking heartbreaking. Next they're gonna show me a pile of fucking dead dogs. Hey, some good news. Well, at least that woman had a kid. Oh, that's so fucking dark. That's what I was saying in episode 1 as well, about how the people were looking at it like a fireworks show and it was going to be deadly to them. Fuck, we are getting all the little things. I'm sorry I keep swearing and I'm just absolutely shocked as to how much of this was true. Yes, no way. No way. That is so cool. That was such a dangerous mission. $2 billion for 100 years of safety, I'd take it. I've speculated that, throughout, how can you really tally the real cost between cancer and birth deformities, animal deaths? Oh, infuriating me to the finish line. 31 deaths, really. Okay, and that was the finale of Chernobyl, and I will be back in just a minute with my thoughts on that. So, Vichnaya Pamyat, what did I think of that? Again, just an incredible episode to finish an absolutely amazing mini-series. This show is so powerful, episode to episode. It stays in your mind, like every episode has bits that stay in your mind and you think about it and you just can't believe that people went through this shit. So to see how much of it was absolutely accurate at the end was just like a gut punch of shock to me. One fact after the other, to see it all laid out and which characters were actually real and what repercussions really happened. Just absolutely shocking. And it was all about things coming out in the courtroom this episode. Would competent guy tell the truth? Would it make a difference? And I actually found all the science behind it really interesting this episode, when he had the blue and red plastic cards and he was explaining the balance and then taking ones off, showing the disbalance beginning to happen, completely breaking down why this could happen, which was mixed in with the flashback sequences we got, showing Dyatlov just being absolute incompetent fuck, because as we found out this episode, it was all about him getting a promotion and he needed this safety test to be on the document before he could take the job, before the other guy could get that job, before the other guy could get that job. It was just a string of people looking for a little string of promotions and they had to get this shit out of the way, and because of that, Dyatlov did not care. By hell or high water, he was getting that test done that night, and we saw the stress he put on the plant, from reducing it so low that the combustion stopped and it basically reset to zero, At that point, they shouldn't have been putting it back up, but he wanted it back up to do the test. When they tried to get it back up, it only went up to 200, and he was like, cool, we're gonna have to run the test like that. And then him telling them to remove the control rods, just one after the other, absolute insanity from a guy that is supposed to be in charge of a power plant. And even though the guys he was ordering about were in their 20s and inexperienced in running a safety test, I do not blame them whatsoever, because they were actually the ones giving him the advice which would have saved his power plant, and he didn't listen to them. They should have been running this power plant. The Chernobyl disaster would have never have happened. And then to see Dyatlov just digging his heels in and lying to the death on the stand has got to be as frustrating as anything else we saw throughout this entire show. And how ironic that a dying man is still giving a fuck about self-preservation, which is ironic because we saw the opposite of that when Competent Guy gave his final testimony and let them know the real truth was due to the fault in the reactor core, which of course made no difference. He was instantly detained, told that his testimony was never going to be accepted or used, and then told he was never allowed to see nuclear physicist lady or grey-haired suit and tie guy ever again. So that was it. He tried his best to tell the truth, and it just shows the level that the Soviet Union were prepared to go to cover up their mistakes in the eyes of the rest of the globe at that time. Horrible to think about it on those terms, but that's essentially what it boils down to. A bunch of inept fucks doing some unsafe things, hoping for quick promotions to an already flawed from its inception reactor core. Just an absolute recipe for disaster. And it's a tragic ending for Competent Guy, because then that basically looked back to the start when he was recording his tapes, and we know from that scene he was always being watched to his dying day, and he hung himself. The one good thing is that the end credit sequence also told us that those tapes did come out and could not be ignored, and were the reason why people know the truth behind the failure to this day. That is amazing. I was unsure as to whether those tapes got anywhere, but to know that that was a real guy and he really did do that and recorded those tapes before he took his life, he is forever a legend. I can't believe that was a real guy. What a G. We all salute you, Soy. You told the truth in the face of death, and I have nothing but respect for you for it. All in all, an incredible show. Literally not one weak episode, not one non-powerful episode. Every single episode consecutively goes into something you're not expecting and just punches you in the gut repeatedly, while showing you the darkest side of the repercussions of this disaster. And yes, it is one of those things that's a tough watch. You have to sort of brace yourself, I would guess, if you wanted to rewatch this show, because you know what you're about to put yourself through. But that being said, it's done so well and it is so powerful that I will definitely watch this again in the future, and at least now I know what I'm getting myself in for, and I can just enjoy it for its quality rather than, you know, my unexpected frustration / fury / depression due to the events it's showcasing. And next week we are starting Band of Brothers, so tune in if you want to see me react to that. And in the meantime, if you have liked this video, click like, subscribe to the channel to see more videos like this, ring the bell to be notified as to when they drop. If there's anything you want to talk about, comment down below, and share this around to anyone you think might appreciate it or want to watch these reactions along with us. My Patreon link is down in the description. If you become a patron, you get access to my blog, you get access to these reactions I put on YouTube a month and a half in advance, and you also get access to full-length versions of everything I react to. So consider becoming a patron. It helps me and my channel out so much, and until next time, I have been BA. Peace.